It's a purpose. It's a passion. It's that joyful fulfillment that they desire most in their life. And when things get crazy, like the chaotic market we're experiencing today, I find that it's harder and harder for agents to find that deep meaning and purpose, that fulfillment and joy, because it used to just come to them thanks to the gods of the market, right? But when it gets tough and the turbulence builds, we have to find something deeper than what it was that got us here in the first place. So I want to just give you a quick introduction to who I am. Yes, my name is Andrew L. Anderson. I use that L because my mother gave me that name. Her maiden name was Lee. So I got to carry that with me as my middle name. So that's what the L stands for. I am a #1 international bestselling author. I'm a speaker. I'm a coach. And yet, most importantly, I am a husband and I'm a new father. And this is little Tanner, who was born this spring. And when my wife and I are on a date, people come up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's so fat," and they just think he's so cute. And then they often ask this. They say, "Is this your first?" Because my wife looks like, she's in her early 20s. And we look at each other and we're like, "No, this is our seventh." So not only do we have this new baby, they range from 7 months all the way up to 15 years. We have a daughter that's a sophomore in high school. And in Idaho, we think it's a good idea to give 15-year-olds driver's licenses. So she is driving, which is wonderful because it takes away a lot of running around for my wife and I. I'm not just a family man, but I also decided that I should let the kids have a dog, because if having 7 children isn't enough, why not just throw in an animal? Because that's fun. When people say, "How in the world do you have 7 kids?" I tell them that that's a presentation for another day. But to pacify them, I say, "Well, I cheated. I have 7 children with 2 wives." And then I say, "Hey, listen, this is Idaho, not Utah, so I was never married to both at the same time. And yet I realize that you guys are in Utah, so if that joke is offensive, please forgive me. It works a lot better in all the other states not named Utah." So I had 3 daughters with my first wife. My wife had a son and daughter. And then someone said, "You know what? You should have one more to bring these families together." And so that's where we got Jacob. He's this cute little 5-year-old down here. And then someone said, "You know what? I was that kid. I was the only parent, the only child of my parents. And I always felt different from someone else." So then we're like, "Well, we better have another." And now that we got the dog, I think we're complete. 7 is the perfect number. So that's my family. I also love doing all things outdoors. If it's in the mountains, if it's in a lake or a river, then I want to be there. And then I, like you, am also a realtor. That was my very first headshot that I got in the fall of 2013, almost 10 years ago. And so I want to chat with you about what happened on that journey briefly, from the fall of 2013 being a brand new realtor to where I'm at today. And it starts with what I call homelessness, and literally homelessness. So 10 years ago, this fall, I had just completed my 6th year of teaching high school. I'd gotten my master's degree from Weber State, which is in your neck of the woods, and I was loving life. We had these 3 beautiful little girls together, and I had learned that I was going to be transferred back home to Boise, and things were awesome. And at the height of all of this, my wife told me that she wanted to separate. And that just devastated me, because with that separation, I also was no longer able to teach due to the circumstances of what was happening. I couldn't be in the classroom. And I found myself literally homeless, living in my parents' basement, which is a lot better than homelessness, but for the pride of a 28-year-old man, it felt just as bad. So I didn't have a job. I didn't have my wife and my kids, and I wasn't able to be in my home. And I truly believed in this dark night of my soul that I had failed, not just my wife and my daughters, but all of my students. And ultimately, I felt like I had failed God. And at this deepest, darkest moment, my brother thought it would be a great idea for me to start a new career where you don't make any money for 7 months. It's 100% commissions. And you walk around pretending like you have all the confidence in the world. And what do we call that? Yeah, it's real estate. And so I sold real estate full time for an entire year. I think I did like 16 listings and 8 buyers. I mean, it was decent. But I found myself in my team leader's office. Her name is Stacy States. And I'm still living in my parents' basement at the time. I finished my first year of real estate, and I literally bawled my eyes out with her. And I said, I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore. I am so sick and tired of buyers and sellers. I don't ever want to work with them ever again. Real estate agents kind of drive me crazy too. And I could live in a cardboard box. Like I really don't care too much about houses. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do with you. And she let me cry, and she was really kind. And she said, I'm here for you. Like whatever I can do, just let me know. And the next morning she called me at 7 a.m. and she offered me a job. And I don't know what happened from that moment in her office to 7 a.m. I think there must have been some divine intervention, because I wouldn't have hired me. I was broken. And she saw something that I couldn't see. And I will forever be grateful for Stacy hiring me to start helping to retain agents to the office by pouring into them. That turned into me becoming a productivity coach. And we became one of the largest productivity coaching programs in all Keller Williams with 116 agents. There were 4 total coaches that I brought alongside with me. And what we did was we just started pouring into these people. And the more that I helped them individually in their lives, the more they were able to produce. And I just thought, like, this is magic. I don't necessarily have to teach them the scripts or help them with the database. Like, yes, it's important, but the more we put them together, the more the business falls into place. And I became passionate about this. And then I started coaching nationally at Keller Williams for MAP coaching as a transformational coach. And they gave us all the clients they didn't know what to do with. Like, hey, we can't help this one. Can you? And I'd say, yeah, bring them on. In that process, I became a master practitioner of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. And I learned to do what's called mental and emotional release therapy. So that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years. I've been working with real estate agents, growing their business, but more importantly, taking care of the things that they do have control of, which is what's going on the inside. Now, to finish the sob story, me living in my parents' basement, that separation did turn into a divorce, and I did remarry, and we have an incredible family together. Nothing is perfect at the Anderson household, and yet everything is exactly as it should be. And I feel very grateful for the lessons I've learned, and for the book that I've been able to write this year, and for the opportunities to speak to you. So what does this have to do with you? You may or may not be homeless right now, living in your parents' basement. If you are, we need to talk, because there's some things that I learned right away. But what you're definitely experiencing is chaos in the market. And what I think is fascinating is agents that are struggling right now, it's not because of their scripts. It's not their CRM or the lack thereof. It's not their marketing. It's not interest rates, although it's so easy to blame everything on interest rates. It's not that at all. Do you know what it's really about? It's about you. And when I say you, if one of these 4 people is watching right now that lives there and is a well-known, just a good member of your community, I'm not talking about, it's not these 4 people. It's you. It's the agent. It's what's going on internally. And what I have found is that there are some similarities between incredible people like the Brian Herds of the world. There are similarities that run in common. And the similarity is this: everybody at some time in their life or their career struggles with what I call imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is what makes you feel like a fraud. Like, I don't know why in the world people would trust me, right? When I'm living in my parents' basement and I'm knocking on their door trying to sell them a house when I don't even have one myself. I don't know how they're going to trust me when I've never sold a home before. I remember 9 years ago thinking, how can someone trust me to help coach them when I've only been in real estate for a year? Sometimes I work with people now that are making 10 times as much money as I am. And again, I'm thinking, how are they going to trust me? I feel like an imposter. And it may be in the business, but it could also be in your relationship, in your marriage. It could be with your children. It could be when you're in a friend group and you just don't feel like you belong or that you should have that seat. And that imposter syndrome, where you're just doubting yourself and why you're doing what you're doing, is what I have labeled the first of the 7 deadly sins that I have found that break down, burn out, and eventually it ends up bankrupting real estate agents. And whether that bankruptcy is financial or emotional, or maybe it's spiritual, or it's within your family, it's incredible what happens when we truly don't trust ourselves. Things just start breaking. And if you have ever felt this way, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think most real estate agents do. What's lacking is a sense of purpose. What's lacking is a passion. What's lacking is having a raison d'être, as we say in French, or a plan de vida in Spanish. It's meaning for your life work. And once we find that purpose and that passion, we become grounded. And when you're grounded in a life mission, then you are able to withstand any turbulence that comes your way. You can deal with market conditions. You can deal with spouses leaving. You can deal with wayward children. You can deal with interest rates, because those things don't define you. They refine you. Now, when we look at what's going on inside you, I love to use this fun little example. And I want to play a game with one of you, and we'll just use Tyler because he was so kind to introduce us. So Tyler, I'm going to let you be the guinea pig here for a little bit. And I'd like you to unmute yourself if you wouldn't mind. And we're going to just see how much these people trust you, okay? And some of them don't know you because there are offices here that you're not the team leader of, but we're all Keller Williams family, right? We should be able to trust our leaders. So Tyler, I'm telling you that I have something here in my bag that human eyes have never seen before. Do you believe me?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, now you're being nice and you're playing along, but let me just help you with this, okay? There is something in my bag that human eyes have never seen before. Do you
Okay.
believe?
Um, if odds are, it's very unlikely. Let's put it that way. There we go.
Okay, so you don't want to believe, but you're a nice guy and you're trying to like keep this moving along. I'm guessing you're more doubtful than you are hopeful that there is truly something in this bag that human eyes have never seen before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, but I'm going to look one more time to just make sure it's in there, because it would be terrible if I had this awesome object lesson and then I forgot the object at home. So I want to look one more time. Okay, yes. There is something in my bag that human eyes have never seen before. Now, I want you to put aside all of everything that's led you to this point, and I need one definitive answer. Tyler, do you believe me? Yes or no?
That any human eyes have never seen it.
Correct. No human eyes have ever seen what's in my bag.
Okay. I feel like it's a trick, but you are seeing it, so I would count yourself. Are you excluding yourself?
No, I'm a human.
Okay.
Okay.
Then it's incorrect. Human eyes have seen it.
Okay, now what I need you to do, if you're able, if you're not driving or jogging, and if you are jogging, you can stop. Anyone that's listening, I need you to just do that little hand raise, or you can turn your video on and raise your hand, but I need you to just like raise your hand if you are in the same boat as Tyler. You're a non-believer. You do not think that there's something in my bag that human eyes have ever seen before. If you're with Tyler, you're a non-believer, I need you to raise your hand. Okay, we got Tony the Tiger. I love that. We've got Camille Ryan, Jessica Mills, Candace Norton. It's like everybody. Okay, congratulations, Tyler. You persuaded all of these people, including Shoni, to not believe me. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay, we're going to change everybody's minds instantly. And I wasn't joking. I'm not a liar, Tyler. I mean, I went and supported your family business, and you know, I'm trying to help you out, right? I'm pouring into you, but you think I'm lying, and I'm not. I'm not a liar. This game that we play called sales, we're all in it, right? It's all about the speed of trust, says Stephen M. R. Covey. And if I start off lying, then we're not going to have a very good relationship. So Tyler, I'm going to give you one more chance to change your mind and anyone else's that's listening. I promise you that there's something in this bag that human eyes have never seen before. Would you like to change your mind, or are you sticking with your guns?
Well, I am a pretty trusting person until you have a reason to take that away. So I would be inclined personally to say, all right, I trust you, and so I'm going to believe you.
Okay,
And
so you're gonna believe
personally,
me.
yeah, I'll trust you and say that, yeah, I believe you.
Okay, now somebody commented saying it's error. It's not error. All right, I'm not trick. There's no tricks here. Okay, it's not error. Tyler, thank you. I, I am very grateful that you're willing to take that trust. Now, by raise of hands, is anyone going to? So put your hands down if they're up. Those little yellow things, like take that down. Now, I need you to put your hands up if you have changed your mind or you fully believe me and now Tyler, who's a second witness, although he's not an eyewitness, but he's saying I vouched for Andrew's reputation. So go ahead and raise your hand if you have changed your mind or you believe, and you believed from the beginning that there's something in this bag that human eyes have never seen before. Oh, Alicia, I saw your hand raised. Thank you for joining the believing team. We got Candace, Camille, we got some Taylor, we got some people that have switched their viewpoints. And Candace says it's faith. That's not it. I promise. It is not something airy fairy like faith and air. It's not this power that I'm talking about in a Sunday school lesson or something like that. It's actually here in my bag. Okay. And thank you for laughing, Candace. Ready? I'm going to do the reveal. So if you're not watching, like this would be the time to look. Okay. Here we go. Tyler, your reputation as the team leader of that office is now on
Okay.
the line. Here it is.
What is that? Is that an apple?
Yep. Do you feel duped?
Yes, I do. But I feel like there's something that you're going to say to bring this all together.
Tyler, what is inside this apple that human eyes have never seen before?
A seed.
You got it. Has any human ever seen the very seeds that are inside this very apple?
No.
Unless they had an x-ray machine. And then they're not actually seeing the seeds themselves. They're seeing the x-ray projection of the seeds. No one has ever seen the seeds inside this apple. Okay, lesson learned. Trust Andrew, trust Tyler. We don't mess around. This isn't airy fairy faith stuff. This is tangible. There is something. And here's the cool thing. Tyler, what is the potential of one seed inside this very apple? What can it become?
Oh, it can become its own tree, which can produce more seeds.
And then it can become what?
Uh, Infinite in number?
That's right. We could have orchards that completely cover all of North America, and then we could transport those seeds to other continents. I'm sure there's some continents like, Antarctica that can't grow apples, but literally the potential of one seed is infinite. That's what's inside this apple. Okay, everybody, give the clap hands, or you can just give Tyler a little bit of love for playing along. We'll let you mute yourself now. I'm very grateful for you playing my game and believing me. And just like the seeds of this apple, Tyler and everybody else, there is something inside you waiting to be planted in ground. There's a purpose, there's a passion, there's a life mission. And this is my favorite quote. It's the very first one at the beginning of my book. And it says this. It's by Aristotle. He said that each human being is bred with a unique set of potentials that yearn to be fulfilled as surely as the acorn yearns to become the oak within it. If you want to screenshot that so you can save it for later, I invite you to do so. I'm going to read it one more time. Aristotle said, each human being is bred with a unique set of potentials that yearn to be fulfilled as surely as the acorn yearns to become the oak within it. Screenshot that. That's a good one. Now I'm going to pull it away. When you die, I love going to the end, beginning with the end in mind. Like when you die, what is it that you want written on your tombstone? My guess is it won't be realtor with the little, the thing, because we have to write that. Unless your name is Gary Keller. He is the only human that I know who has said from stage, when I die, I want them to write the word realtor on my tombstone. Now, if that is the only thing that is giving you identity, then you're always going to feel like an imposter. because you're a lot more than a realtor. Your life mission is probably not like Gary's, which is to save us all right now with what's happening in the courts. But your mission is a lot deeper, a lot different than just selling homes. Now, as important as it is, right? I said your boots on the ground. You are the incognito marriage, family, career counselors when the divorces and deaths and everything happen. People are going through it. Like, I'm not taking away the importance, but that's not all you are. I mean, you do know you're more than that, don't you? And yet, when things go down in the market, and maybe we didn't sell as many houses last year, or buyers tell us they're just not ready, or sellers take their home off the market, if you take that personally, because that's your identity, then you're going to be miserable forever. Because no matter how bruised and battered the apple becomes, no matter how many worms, this one actually ironically does have a little wormhole right there. No matter how many worms tap in to what's going on the outside, the seeds are still good on the inside. And we can't identify with what's happening outside of us. And when you're feeling that imposter syndrome and that identity fraud, you've got to go internal. We got to find out what's inside. And that life mission is where I start my book in chapter number 1. It's the solution to the first of the 7 deadly sins that break down burnout and bankrupt real estate agents. Now, because you all are so good at raising hands, Tyler, we won't make you play this time, but you certainly can if you want to. And this is a time to be vulnerable. It's okay. By raise of hands, how many of you could state on camera right now, word for word, a life mission? Let's just give everyone a moment. Raise your hand if you can do this. Can you state your life mission word for word? Raise your hand if you can play this game. Okay. Tyler is playing. Okay, Tyler, you're just like, okay, Tony the Tiger's got it. Now Tony, you've even taken yourself off mute. You're ready to go. We're gonna let Tyler sit this one out. Tony the Tiger Hellman, what a name. I like you, Tony. Not only because Frosted Flakes were my favorite cereal growing up, but because you were bold enough and you have this figured out. You are, and I'm not even kidding, you're 1 in like 50. It's about 1 in 50. About 20% of people actually can say what their life mission is. And Tony, tell us, if you wouldn't mind, what is your life mission?
My mission is to be wise, courageous, inspired by the guidance of God, to live life governed by my values and dreams. My highest values are love, adventure, and joy. I break free of non-working habits of procrastination and indecision. I create through the law of attraction thoughts and a life of higher values, including appreciation, gratitude, and achievement. I joyously travel, learn, and give back. I am grateful for family and career of real estate investing. And while approval and recognition are wonderful, I am Tony.
And I want to approve and recognize how powerful that was. And Tony, just so everyone knows, have you or I ever spoken together?
No.
No, like I've never met you before. I didn't like prepare and say, I want you to just spout out something that's written on your wall as powerfully as you can during my presentation at minute 29.
Nope.
Great. We've never met. Tony, it was important enough that you wrote it down. And that to me is extremely, extremely powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to come back to you a little bit later, but first of all, I just want to give some gratitude. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your life mission with us. You can go ahead and put yourself back on mute. Now, if you're like, man, that was deep, it was. And I guarantee you that Tony didn't just wake up one morning and write that down. It's probably been something he's been crafting over time. And it doesn't have to be that ornate. It doesn't have to be that long or beautiful or scripted. It can be something extremely simple. And I'm going to walk you through a very easy way to identify today. Like literally, you're going to walk away with that life mission. And we do it by asking 5 simple questions. If If you would like, you can write these down. You can screenshot them as we go. And the 5 simple questions are: number 1, who are you meant to serve? Now, you're a human, right? And we are not made to live solitary lives of isolation. We are meant to be in families. We mate, we breed, we create more of us. Like me, we created a lot more of us. There's 7 of them. And we are meant to be together in interdependence. We are reliant upon one another. And there are people in our world right now who are yearning and praying and pleading and reaching out because they need help. We have a turbulent world right now. I don't know. I mean, it seems like we're always in the worst the world has ever been, but maybe that's just my 38 year of, myopic, view. But I don't know how things can get any worse. Like people are really struggling. And there are not enough leaders that are answering that call to serve mankind. And yet you know that there are people that you can serve better than anyone else. I've heard it said before that we are often best prepared to serve the person that we once were. Let that sink in for a minute. You might be best prepared to serve the person that you once were. Who was I at one point? I was divorced. I was living in my parents' basement. I didn't have a house or a job. I was broken. Does that mean that I'm best prepared to serve that person and that this book was written exactly for a 28-year-old young man who's falling apart? Maybe. But it could be just someone who feels like there's got to be more. There's got to be an identity beyond what I had held on to as a husband and a father and a teacher for all those years. And I might be best prepared to serve someone that's in a state of breakdown, that's looking to have a breakthrough, which is what I do as a coach. We do breakthrough sessions where we spend 4 to 5 hours together, letting go of all the stuff that's making you feel like an imposter. So who are you meant to serve? As my 9th grade art teacher, Mr. Goodwin, said, keep it simple, stupid. KISS. I like that guy. You don't have to overcomplicate this. There is a person, a group of people, there's a community, there's an organization, there's somewhere, something that you know you were meant to serve. What is that? Write it down. The second question then is, what unique gifts do you have to offer that they desperately need? This one we can also keep simple. It doesn't have to be, well, I'm an author, or I'm a coach, or I have these, specific skills that no one else in the world has. They're unique to you. And when you show up as an answer to that person's pleading, that's unique. And you can offer them something that they desperately need. It may be as simple as your friendship. It could be a listening ear. It could be perspective. You have things that make you you, that people are asking for. That's what makes you unique. Number 3, what is so important to you about using your unique gifts to serve these specific people? This question is vital because when you have an answer to this, that's your why. There's a value, and I heard Tony say one of those values earlier. There's a value here. It means something to you. So let's imagine that someone says, I feel like I'm meant to serve underprivileged children that weren't born into a silver platter home where everything was given to them. And the unique gift that I have to offer them is my story, because I came from the foster care system and I didn't have mom and dad, and I'm very successful today. And I think I can share with them what it's like to be on this other end. And then the question, what's so important to that person about using that individual gift to serve those specific people? They're going to say something extremely meaningful. And usually this is what brings people to tears. What's so important, let's say, to this example of this person would be, because I can't stand anyone going through what I went through without having someone by their side. I won't let any child that I can prevent have to go through that hell. And I want to be there for them. So when you have the answer to number 3, that becomes the driving value. the driving why behind the gifts that you have and those that you were meant to serve. The fourth question is, what does this do for you? If the answer isn't light me up, makes me want to just shout it from the rooftops, if it isn't, it brings me to tears, it has to move you to action. If that's not the answer that you get for number 4, then we need to just revisit questions 1, 2, and 3. Because when you know who you're meant to serve and the unique gifts that you have to offer and what is so important to you about doing that, then it truly does move you. And when you're in that state of movement, you don't need to be motivated. That word motivate comes from the Latin word movere, and movere means to make move. And nothing truly makes you move outside of yourself. Not the carrot that you're chasing or the stick that you're running away from. It's always an internal motivation. It's something that drives you and moves you forward, it propels you. And once you're connected and grounded to that source, and you have that specific life mission, then you can answer one of the most important questions that we could ever ask in this life. And that question is this. The question is, why? Here we go. Why are you here? Oh, here we go. That's the last question, number 5. So why are you here? When you can string together those first 4 answers, you have a life mission. So why are you here? My mission in life was shared by Shoni at the beginning today, and I appreciate him sharing that. Or not Shoni, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for sharing that. My mission in life is to bless who? My brothers and sisters. I believe to be God's children. That's everyone on this earth, like as many as possible. What unique gifts do I have to offer they so desperately need? Strength. Not just any kind of strength. I'm not a fitness coach per se, but an internal strength, a spiritual strength, which is why my book is called Strength of the Oak, Strength of the Willow. My purpose, my mission in life is to bless my brothers and sisters who are God's children to live a higher level of spiritual strength. I have found things for myself and my clients that speed this process up in a manner that gets us there faster than anything I've ever found, so that they can feel free to live out their life mission. What's so important to me about using these individual gifts to serve this specific people? Well, I believe that this call for me is not just something I made up, but I believe it's something that comes from my Creator, and that I will account someday for how I used these unique gifts that I've been given and the experiences to reach these people. And what does that do for me? It makes me not have to work any more days of my entire life, because it's not work. It's my passion. I do it for free. And I'm building a nonprofit to provide this for young adults as well. So why am I here? There you go. That's the answer. And you're going to have your own. And you can go through these questions and you can figure out what they mean to you. And I invite you again to jot these down, screenshot them so that you can come back to them later. And it doesn't take a lifetime to figure this out. You can do it in one sitting, like you've maybe done as you've been pondering these questions today. That life mission will get you grounded. And I am so appreciative that I've been able to spend this time here with you today. And you're probably thinking, okay, I've got this. I can do the life mission. That's easy. But what about the other things? Because there are more. I said there are 7 deadly sins, and imposter syndrome is just number 1. And life mission is the solution. What about the other things that bring us down? Well, I'm happy to share those with you. And all you have to do is, number 1, you can go to Amazon and get my book. If you want me to read it to you, I'm happy to do so, because it's on Audible and it's in my voice. So you can go to Amazon and get my book. If you would like video, because you're more of a, I want to watch it, you can send me an email. My email address is andrew@andrewlanderson.com. And if you just write videos in the subject line, then we will send you 5 videos to help answer those 5 questions. And each of them are less than 5 minutes long. So in 25 minutes, we can go deeper on those 5 questions, and you can revisit what it is that we experienced today. So option number 1, go to Amazon, you can get the book. Option number 2, you can send me an email in the subject line, say videos, and we'll get you those 5 videos. Or option number 3, if you say, you know what, like I want to talk to you, Andrew, I don't want to listen to your book or see your videos, but I want to spend 30 minutes with you, then you can use this QR code, or you can go to freecall.andrewlanderson.com. And for the first 10 people that sign up today, I will spend 30 minutes with you. I wish I could do more than 10 people, but there are hundreds that are joining us from the 3 different market centers, and I don't have that many 30 minutes to give away. But for the first 10 people, I will give 30 minutes. So use that QR code, or you can go to freecall.andrewlanderson.com to schedule that time together. So I want to come back really quick to these awesome leaders of yours and to the awesome agents that make up what you're doing. You guys, as cheesy as it may sound, like I really do believe that you are the boots on the grounds for our communities. There is nothing to me more important than my family. And what holds my family together is our home. And you know that when people walk into a home and they start crying, like that's a meaningful thing. They really do feel grateful for what you've done. And sometimes they don't know about all of the emotional wrecks and the deals that almost fell apart that you kept together in the background. And you are, I mean, you're superheroes. When I hear what you do for your clients, it's extremely humbling to me. And I know that you are holding houses and families and communities together. And I want to thank you for being on the front lines and doing that work that you do. And again, I want to thank Johnny. I want to thank Shoni. I want to thank Tyler and Robin for allowing me to be here with you guys today. You have something special going. And I'm looking forward to coming down, crossing the Idaho-Utah border, and being with you guys in person. I feel confident. That's what's inside you. That life mission is ready and yearning, and the world needs what you have to offer. And I'm here to help make that happen. I'm going to bring this back up one more time. If you were hoping to catch it, again, you can go to Amazon if you want to send me an email, or you can use that QR code or go to freecall.andrewlanderson.com. I'm happy to spend 30 minutes with the first 10 people. Thank you for joining me today. There are seeds of greatness inside you. There is something that human eyes have never seen before that's ready to be grounded. Go get it. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank
And
you.
collective, hopefully, if I can, a collective thank you from there. We've got people in each of our offices sitting at desks watching you. And so thank you from, all of us as well. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that, Tyler. Thank you.